My name is Zlata. I am 26 years old at the moment. I am from Ukraine and Latvia, so Eastern Europe. I live in the Netherlands already for full 7 years. I studied here. I studied psychology, did my bachelor's and master's in Amsterdam and Leiden. And at the moment, I do work with refugees, and I work at the very big Dutch organization that is called COA. So it's Centraal Opvang Asielzoekers. Um, and yeah, we have people all over from all over the world that are coming to the Netherlands for for a safer and better environment. And I work as a programmabegeleider for them, so as a program manager. My native language is Russian. I did learn Ukrainian, obviously, because I grew up in Ukraine. Other than that, I also speak German and English. All in all, I speak 8 languages, so that's quite a lot. So Dutch is one of them now. Thank God. I was doing my bachelor's and master's in English, so Dutch was more staying as a hobby. It was not really a priority to learn it because everything was available in English. However, I must say, the moment I finished my master's and started looking for actual jobs in the Netherlands, so not just part-time student jobs, but really a full-time positions, it was really, really hard. So without Dutch, it was practically, well, impossible because in the Netherlands, if you are a psychologist, if you want to work with people, obviously Dutch is very, very important. And my level of Dutch, it was present, but it was not very high. So I could understand a lot and I could say a lot, but on a very, very simple level. So not enough for the job market. I worked for 2 years, partly because of that and partly because of the war in Ukraine. I worked with Ukrainian refugees. So, of course, there the priority was Ukrainian, Russian, English, and a little bit of knowledge of Dutch. But then at some point, the project was finished, and then I still wanted to find a full-time position. And then, yeah, it was practically impossible. And that was the moment when I told Daphne, you know what? I'm going to start now 2 part-time jobs. So one was at Hema and one was at a cafe in Horeca. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to be doing these 2 part-time jobs that's just so that I can survive, of course, and have money. But I want to find a good position. And I do realize now that like high level of Dutch is needed or like professional level of Dutch. So that's the moment when we started preparing for the exams, for the NT2 exams. The Dutch language exam was not a requirement for my job, but at the moment that I applied for my current job, it was on my CV because I did it by then. So it was not a requirement, it was not mentioned anywhere, but I think unofficially it was very important to have it. Because I think when they reviewed my resume and they saw that I have NT2, B2, so my niveau, my level at the moment is B2. I think when they saw it, it gave them immediately confidence that it's official and it's there. And then obviously they invited me for many rounds of interviews, and it was all in Dutch. So then they could check it in reality if it's true or not. But it was at the moment officially on my resume, and I do think that it helped because before that I was applying to many, many jobs. Even in international companies where English is the main language, but still, if you want to work with people, Dutch was very important. And I received many replies about you have to improve your Dutch. Like once you speak Dutch, no problem. We really like you. Your resume is amazing, but you need to speak Dutch really. What works for me the best and what I really believe in is one-on-one classes with the person, with the teacher, with the tutor. And then, of course, obviously, if if you choose Daphne, that's wonderful because that's what I did, and thank God it got me to where I am now, which I'm very, very happy about and very, very grateful for. And I just think that this is honestly the best. Also for the beginning, I must say, because I think at the beginning, when you just start, you really need someone to guide you and to be there for you, to give you the structure. So, for example, you know that you have a lesson per week on a Tuesday, so you have to be ready for it. And then the person guides you, like, where do you start? Which words do you need to learn? What is the basic grammar that you have to know? So it's really structured and yeah, you don't have to worry about it then. Then there is someone else professional who makes it for you and prepares the plan for you. And you can work on your mistakes in real time. So that is really, really wonderful. I remember one of the first things that I did was reading a book in Dutch, children's book. So it was kind of like a simple book, but still with the interesting story. So more like a teenage book. And I read it fully in Dutch. And I remember I didn't understand most of what was happening, but I still understood the plot, the story itself. And I'm thinking what really helped me, what gave me a huge push was one of my part-time jobs that I did before. Because when I was in this Ukrainian project, they were looking for someone who is able to speak Ukrainian for Ukrainian refugees, but who is also able to speak Dutch for Dutch employees. So that was the job that I got for 3 months, but it was really a huge push because it was the moment, like the very first real moment where I had to speak Dutch half of my day or like 60% of my day. So that was the first moment when I actually had an opportunity to practice for 3 months. And that's when I stopped being afraid. So after that, my learning also improved a lot because it became reality. The grammar is still, of course, a hard part, especially when you have to write it or type it out, because then you really, really notice the mistakes that you do. I think that was hard. And then, yeah, indeed, stepping over this limit. So actually speaking to people, that was hard also. Uh, what was easy, I think, for me, obviously, it was just the experience of learning the language, doing homework. That was easy because I like it. It's a kind of a hobby of mine, so it's more fun rather than an obligation. So I think easy was just experiencing it. Yeah, but hard was doing it in the correct way. Yes, so my advice number one, and that is like 100% correct advice, is the moment you come to the Netherlands, start learning the language. And I think I cannot stress it enough, even because I do have friends, obviously, who are also expats in the Netherlands. And even if Dutch is not needed in the first steps of your journey or even in the first few years of your journey, depending also on what job you have, of course, it still becomes relevant at one point or another because it is the country that is speaking Dutch. You receive all the letters in Dutch. You have all the different services in Dutch. You talk to people in Dutch. And the moment you can do it in Dutch, that's the moment when you feel like it becomes your home. Because I also went through many different stages in the Netherlands, like from happiness to sadness and back to happiness. And I realized that a huge part of my happiness now is that I started speaking the language. And of course, then people perceive you also differently. I think in every language, it's not only with Dutch people like this, but the moment people realize you're at least trying to learn the language, they become kinder, they appreciate it, they are grateful that you make the effort to learn it. So that's really, really wonderful. So advice number one, and like the only advice, is to start learning the language. And even if it's a little bit, it's already much better than nothing at all.